Hello, everyone. I am Debbie Henry, and this is your new show, The Hartwell Hustle. And we are going to, this is the first show, and we're going to be talking about anything and everything that goes on in Hartwell. You know, there's a lot that goes on here, and that's why it's called The Hartwell Hustle. So just stay tuned in and keep watching the shows, and you'll learn a lot about Hartwell, even if you're from here. Today, I'm excited to have Scott and Susanne Barfield, who are, well, I'm not going to take away their thunder. I won't tell everything. But today, we're going to talk about the station, which is the newest event venue here. And I'm excited that it's here. It's going to add a lot to our community. So, Scott and Susanne, welcome. And thank you for being first on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
First ones.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
We have lived in Hartwell now for over 3 years. We were in Livonia at our lake house before that, so really in the area for 9 years.
Right.
But we moved into town. We liked being close to Hartwell, in the heart of Hartwell, because of the brewery, and we just need to be closer to everything. So now with the station here, being this close has really saved our life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we like being in Hartwell and being able to walk the town, walk to all of our vendors that we're doing business with, and being able to stay connected there.
Yeah, that's one thing I love that you all have done is you keep everything local when you can.
Yeah, when we can, yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Good. Well, tell us about what gave you the idea? How did this come about? How did the station come about?
Well, it was going to be called Railroad Street Station because it's on Railroad Street, but we wanted it to be more of a catchy phrase. Mm-hmm. So it's the station of Hartwell. So that's what it is. But we really we go to Greenville or Athens to shows, and we stay the night because if we go, we're going to go to dinner. We may have a drink or two, and we don't want to drive back at midnight. So this being here in Hartwell, we don't have to get a hotel. We can see the same shows. Some of these shows are coming from California. They're traveling shows. We don't have to go. We stay right here in our own little town, watch this show that you would have to go 2 hours away to catch, and then we can go straight back home to our house.
So what kind of shows will you be having?
Currently, what we have booked are cover bands. It's going to expand from there, but we really wanted to fill our lineup quickly and get the ticket sales going. So currently, I have a lot of cover bands. The first one is dueling pianos, as you know, and it is sold out. So if you haven't been to like Jack and Diane's in Greenville, similar setup. There's 2 baby grands up on the stage. They do a lot of interaction, so it's a lot of audience participation in a dueling pianos. The next one we have been given from a venue that went out of business. So we're getting the Eagles tribute.
Nice.
So we're excited about that at the end of the month. And then after that, we have a Fleetwood Mac, which is close to being sold out. So if you want tickets for that one, you need to go ahead and go on our website or on our Facebook page and grab tickets for that.
Okay, and we're gonna put the information up on the screen before the show's over so that you'll know exactly how to buy your tickets. You know, I've been in the building. It's not open yet. It's beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful.
We're so
It's been
close.
a lot.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I want the audience to hear is about the building, because when I walked through, I remember you told me about the doors.
The fire station
Yeah,
doors.
and those are things that if you're going to an event there, you know, everybody can read about the events on Facebook, but they wouldn't necessarily know about the building. Talk to us about that.
When we first started, you know, the building was, there's a brick into it. That was one of the first buildings that we understand that the railroad actually built in Hartwell. So it's like 1880s. It was
old, really?
Not in great shape. Yeah. There's a building across the street, the one with the mural on it. I think those were the first 2 buildings that the railroad built in Hartwell. So from that, the Gold Kist added a warehouse onto the other end.
I have
was
an
that for
original
years.
𝗂𝒃 metal sign that's going to go up too.
Yeah, it came out of the building. During the project, I mean, this has been a long time. There's been lots of changes. You get into something and you find out, well, this is that building. We were going to tear it down. We got approval to tear it down.
Really?
And then we found out what it was.
It
and we're
killed
like,
my soul. I wanted to keep that brick.
We can't tear this down. So it changed the project. We had to re-engineer things. We literally put steel columns up against the brick on the inside, on both sides, support beams across. So the new roof that went over it actually doesn't even touch the old bricks. So it's supported completely different. We found out at some point too, we added a block building onto the back of it, which is going to house our kitchen and some other things back there. And we were digging and doing supports for that. We just kept digging and digging and digging. And finally we realized that the original building had a basement in it. So it's, yeah, it was all filled in. Luckily we didn't find anything kind of unusual we were digging other than a few railroad things and stuff like that. But we've transformed the other part of the building. It's going to be the main room. There's a bar, very long. It's about 4,500 square feet total in that particular room. There'll be a stage at one end. The back side of the building has roll-up glass doors, so you can see out onto a lawn that's going to be about twice the size of the inside of the building. We'll actually have a stage and stuff out there as well. But like you guys were talking, we got the old firehouse garage doors and actually incorporated them in to separate the bar in the main room.
That's what I love. I love
It's
that.
really cool. And so I think we're getting a plaque made up to do that, to show what it was.
We also have the bar footrest.
Yeah, that's
is
brand
a
new.
railroad rail. And I feel redundant saying that, but I guess that's what it's called. The rail of a real railroad is the footstool.
It only took 8 or 10 guys to carry that.
It really did. It was crazy feat to watch that get brought in.
Jack to actually pick it up. So it's in place now.
So when you are over visiting the station and you've got your feet on that rail, be sure and take a look at it, and also take a look at those doors. Make note of those doors. And if you're watching this show, you'll be able to share a little bit of information that probably a lot of people won't know.
Yeah, and we got a local photographer, Bill Powell, to take, he came over and he showed me a lot of his pictures, and we picked the ones that we thought would look really good up in the building. So again, as you're going through the building, notice the original railroad pictures that we have up, and they are Hartwell pictures. They're not just random train pictures. They are pictures from Hartwell trains.
Right.
All the way over 100 years ago.
Nice.
It's pretty neat.
Well, let's change it up a little bit and tell us, so what other kind of events will you have there?
We already have in the books, the Chamber Awards is coming up.
Okay.
We have another banquet already booked. I'm showing it almost daily for weddings. So I've got some weddings already in the books. Some of them are going to have the ceremony in one back area that seats 100. So that will be just chairs. And then they'll flow into the main room, which seats 295 for the reception. Okay. And there'll be a stage. So they'll have a DJ up there, and they'll have their dining. So they can stay on premises for the entire wedding.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's great. That's great. And what about the food situation? Will you cater?
No, we have a full kitchen. Okay. So our kitchen manager, Andrew Ballinger, he will sit down with you and price out whatever it is you want to stay in your budget.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of love the kitchen because we have 2 others, obviously. And so in the years that we've been doing this, you figure out what you don't like. Actually, more of what you don't like and what doesn't work well and what doesn't flow. This one's going to be great. I'm going to have some of our staff, they'll be working in there. They're not going to want to go back to their old kitchen.
It's so pretty and clean. That's what I love right now.
Yeah, we've had the floors redone. They're all polished.
And I love the concrete countertop.
Yeah, that's for the bar. We did a concrete bar top. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And out on the back side, too, we're going to have what you call Connex cars or old box cars that'll kind of surround the property. So the backdrop for the stage would be a Connex car. So kind of keeping in the theme with the railroad stuff as well. So We'll have parking lot on one end. That the old brick end is kind of, even though it's on the side, it's kind of the main entrance because handicap parking would be back around behind that. It's already concreted and in.
Okay. So it is handicap accessible.
Oh yeah,
which is important.
And, so you can come in that way. There is a door coming up on the front from the street as well to the side, but we're going to try to drive everybody coming that way through the whole thing if we can. We've added more parking on that end. We'll probably add some more parallel spots going down the street as well. On the other end, we're adding, we're working on that today actually, about getting that parking lot ready and expand it. And then we've been talking to the city at some point, working with them to do a parking lot kind of like they did across the street and with Blush. It's where we make it all the parking accessible to public parking when we're, you know, and
it'll be paved
at that point.
Right.
They're going to come in and do some stuff. And it's just been a lot to get going. And year end, we couldn't really work it out because their budgets were already done. So we're trying to work on something that we've utilized Smith Planning Group, the city of Hartwell. There's been a lot of people involved in this project. And I'll just say it was way more than what I thought. So
glad you did it.
I will be.
We'll be glad when Saturday comes.
So this Saturday, huh?
Yeah, this Saturday. So
doors open at 5:30, and we open them a little bit earlier this first show so people can come in. We give us a tour, let them see the building, and get familiar with the place. Of course, grab some food. We have our. I don't know if you have a picture of the menu, but we have the concert menu for all the shows. So come early, get some good food.
Tell us about that menu. That's cute.
Well,
I saw the names of it.
I swear, I think it was your husband who suggested this. He's like, you should come up with like fun railroad names for the food. So we all brainstormed, and that's what we did. We came up with some railroad names for the food. So,
and when I looked at the layout on Facebook, I saw that there was like you were talking, a section at the front and a section at the back. So part of it's reserved and part of it's...
Oh, so you're talking about general admission and the table. It depends on the show. And in fact, I know I look like I hadn't slept because I don't sleep, but I was up about 5 o'clock in the morning in conversations with somebody on Facebook about, she was very confused on, she couldn't do a high top. And if the bar was a high top, she wouldn't be able to do it. So it depends on the show. So if there's a less expensive show, we'll have more tables. If it's a more expensive show, we'll have less tables and more just seating.
Okay.
But no matter what, everybody will have a chair.
Okay.
Because we're not big into standing room only.
And I think that's important because I know, and you probably have been too, I've been to venues in Asheville and Greenville.
Georgia Theater.
Yeah, where
I don't want to stand.
I don't want to stand.
the entire time.
No, everyone.
Now, if you want to get up and move around with the music or whatever, there'll be a spot you can do that, but you always have a place to go back and sit down.
Everybody will have a seat. So
that's great. It's just that the reserved are assigned. I mean,
the tables they'll have numbers on them. So when you buy a table, I know a lot of people are buying tables. You will go. I'll welcome you at the door. I will show you where your table is. It'll have a number on it. And if not, the general admission is first come, first serve. And that's why I highly recommend getting there early. Again, grabbing some food while you're there, getting your drinks. You'll go to the bar for your drinks if you're general admission. Your tables will have servers to take care of you.
How did you plan for the acoustics? You know, you're going to have music.
We have good people. Steve Crump's
Steve Crump's done a lot with it with CWS. He's done all the sound for their High Cotton for years.
Good.
He does all of our stuff for our festivals and stuff of that nature. We have hired somebody to come in that understands how to run and manage the boards that control the music with the bands. Just the kind of design of the room, the ceiling that we put in is kind of it's almost like wood planks. There's grooves in it. So the cool thing is we have a gentleman that's from here. His name's Mike Vick, and he actually was the engineer for the Tonight Show for 35 years.
Oh, okay.
So he's come in and helped us with doing an analysis of the acoustics.
And has some good suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. anytime you have music in a room and you have their stuff, the horns in the speakers, how they're designed, which direction they're pointing, the shape of the room. But anytime there's flat surfaces, that's not great. So you try to look and see what can deflect the sound waves. So we've looked into it quite a bit. And
we're not the pros, but we're relying on the pros.
You know, once we get it up and once we get it up and cranking, then we're probably going to go, oh, we need to tweak this or adjust that. So we'll have to do some of that. Unfortunately, coming up to the end here, so much we haven't really a chance to do like a soft opening or anything of that nature.
Yeah, the first one's just do pianos up there. We'll have all tables, and all the tables will have tablecloths. So that's going to buffer a lot of sound. So the first one intentionally was a low-key show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know everybody's excited.
Yeah.
So who's going to be at the piano on the pianos?
Oh, it's Uptown Dueling Pianos out of Charlotte.
Yeah.
So nothing is like just some local guys on the piano. It's a traveling performance.
We have another venue we know that they've been to many times. They're so popular when they go. It's like once a quarter they actually have them there, and every show they ever have is sold
Duluth.
out.
Yeah, they're there a lot.
Wow.
So
I think this is a big thing. I mean, I have visited the one in Greenville several times, and
it sold out rather quickly, so that's why we rebooked them. And I am toying with the idea of having them back New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So that might be a really fun New Year's Eve celebration.
So that would be.
Well, a lot of these bands too. If anybody out there who's been to see these bands, like we went to see, we're going to have a Queen cover band that's coming, tribute band out of
LA.
Los Angeles.
So
we've seen them, and I'll just say a lot of these bands that we've seen, they're as good or better than the originals. Because they've been doing it. These guys have been doing this for 20 years. And they literally travel the entire world. We saw another one. They're out of Australia. This is all they do. They go all over the world doing this stuff. And we're going to have them here.
Wow.
We have a green room we built in the back just for the musicians, their own bathroom, their own everything.
Really?
Yeah. So they'll have a sofa area.
This is like big time.
This
is the real thing.
It's a real thing. So,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me, because I had not heard until today, this was the first time I'd heard this, about the box cars in the back. Because I think of Chattanooga Choo-Choo, that kind of thing. I don't know if you've been there, but where they have the box cars that are hotel rooms. Each one of them is a hotel room.
To begin with, the first one behind the stage, it'll have accessibility for the band potentially, because really they can step off the stage and go through the door and be in the green room. Or if they're inside, they can come through another door and be right on the stage. It'll be a place where we can, literally take all the stuff that you have on the stage and instead of leaving it outside in elements, you can just bring it in. There'll be another one that, for future date that we can convert into,
a bar.
Maybe
outdoor bar.
We're not going to do something where it's going to be too much of housing a lot of people, but in one end that we're looking at, having maybe where we can extend a deck off the top of it, and you can have a deck overlooking the outdoor thing. And
so when we have outdoor concerts, you'll have like a pavilion area.
Yeah.
Wow.
So. It's still, we'll get to one thing and they change it later. So we're going to put them in because, we just put them in and then we'll work on doing something cool with them later. So.
Well, I'm glad y'all are married, because if you weren't, I can't even imagine the time.
Why do I keep throwing that down?
We're going to leave it on the floor.
I can't even imagine the time. How many hours have you put in? I tell you what, that's too hard. Let's back up. When was the very first time that you looked at each other and said, you know what, let's start thinking about this? When did the idea?
This has been going on for 2 years.
April 2 years ago.
2 years.
April 2 years ago.
Yeah, the first thing was the house on the corner next to it. We had to refurbish that. So we redid that entire house.
Okay.
And we got that done in about 3 or 4 months.
It's a
then we went on vacation, and then we came back and started looking at the plans of this whole thing, and mine fell that time. So did a lot of iterations on design changes and who wants what and this and that. That took quite a while, but once the construction phase really started, I mean, it's gone along well. The last couple of months, I mean, I got home at 9 o'clock last night.
We don't eat. It's a good diet plan.
I mean, you're there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're home at 9 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night. And
Wow.
so I don't really know what day it is today, to be quite honest with you.
Well, and, the crazy thing is this is not your own, like I said, we won't go into it today because I want to have you on the show later on, but this is not your only,
No.
the only thing that you have your hands in. You've got Scott and Susanne are owners of the brewery, Hart Brewery downtown, the Boathouse.
Boathouse.
Grill.
The good thing is our staff. And it's kind of all under one umbrella, meaning if you are an employee of Southern Hart Brewery, you're also an employee of the station and the Boathouse, and you have the ability to work at all three.
Oh, that's great.
So it's very fluid.
Yeah,
That's
kind of. Southern Hart's done really, really well, and it was also an evolution. How to have things work. We have great managers. We have great kitchen staff. I mean, I have 4 or 5 people that work in our kitchen that could run their own kitchen.
Wow.
I mean, and they have.
And the top 3 are going to be at the station as leads over there.
Yeah. So we have that, the management staff, but it's kind of like, here's how we were doing at Southern Hart. So when we got the Boathouse, we just kind of adopted that philosophy, that type of, here's how we do this, here's how we do that. And so even like, in the bar, I mean, the bars are set up exactly the same way. There's some different options,
So when you
but they're set up the
go
same.
to one from another, you're not having to relearn.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The staff.
Same policies, same
Yes.
procedures,
Yes.
everything like that. And it'll be pretty much over here the same way, but it'll be a little more higher end. And
Same POS system, your point of sale, so same everything that they know what they're doing, no matter what location they're at.
But hey, be quite honest, I tell like Andrew all the time, I said, without these guys, this is
We
not
couldn't do it.
possible.
And they
This
know
is
that.
not
Yeah,
possible.
they know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we're just blessed. We have over 70 employees.
That's great.
So,
Well,
I say
we've
that.
added a few more here recently.
I know I say that. I'm like, oh my God. I'm walking, I'm going,
Who are you?
who's that?
So do you have trouble finding staff in town?
Honestly, no, which is
No.
weird. We don't.
Good.
People do come. We get a lot of word of mouth. People come to us, like the employees say, hey, I have a friend who I'd really like to come over. But we've had staff who've been with us almost day one.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
great.
for 6 years now
Yeah.
that we have maintained a lot of the same staff.
Yeah,
That's
we have
great.
about 2 years ago, I didn't even realize kind of how we were doing it, and it just kind of came up. But somebody told me one time, he says, you've created a culture of accountability, because the manager, we hold the managers to, be accountable. They hold us. They hold the staff, and the staff holds each other, and they also hold the management. I mean, if something's not working right, it's causing somebody else to have to work harder or less efficiently. So it's not ugly. It's just call it out. This is what needs to be done, and everybody takes care of it. Is it perfect? No.
I was
but
about to say, we're not
it's
perfect by
not
any
perfect,
means,
but that's
no.
kind of the goal. And when it's working right, it's working right. So if you come in as an employee, you got to know I'm expected to do these things. And one thing is, it's kind of like, if there's food to be run or drinks to be run, or there's people to be set or tables to be cleaned.
We do it.
If you're
just like
not
everybody else.
busy, do it. Just help. I will help you do your stuff, and when I need help, you're helping me do my
Right.
stuff.
Sounds like a great team.
So I mean, and it's not perfect. Obviously,
Yeah.
you'll have different days, and some days we get a 5-star review, and some days we get less. And then, but every time we do, we're like, what happened? And
That was my 11 o'clock last night.
it's like,
Okay.
because you got to fix it.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that at the station as well. And but we're going to have some other smaller things going on in the rooms over there too. That
Okay.
there'll be kind of smaller events I think people will really enjoy. We're kind of like, some ideas came up after the fact. I'm like, oh my gosh, we should do that.
Okay.
So
That was one of your questions, is maybe something more permanent. Those thoughts are in the background, but not
Okay.
not quite there yet.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it'll be fun.
So one last question, because we're getting ready to wrap it up here. But so just for clarification for the audience, this is not a restaurant, that you come in
Currently,
any
no.
time of day. Not currently,
No.
where you can go in any time of day. You can go to Southern Heart Brewery or to Boathouse for that. But this is for special events. So be sure and look up the events. There's some great things happening over there.
Yeah.
Like us on Facebook and look at all the events, and you can literally click a button and buy tickets from there.
And you can, because I've done it.
Yeah.
So
No, we have 2 restaurants. That's good. This will be events. That's what we're doing here.
Right. I get it. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
For taking your time. I know you're super, super busy, and I want to thank you for being the first ones on the show.
I know. I didn't know that till we're honored.
Ah, well, it's great. It's great, and I'm sure that you'll be back more times as much as you've got your hands in the community here. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining us, and I'm excited about everything that we're going to be doing here. And if you have an idea that you want us to research, or that you want us to talk about, or you want to know a little bit more about, let us know. We've got some great things lined up. But until next time, I'm Debbie Henry, and this is the Hartwell Hustle.